Wow. Speedway Slammer, huh? The only thing this says to me, with this re-electing Donald Trump for genocide operations to ramp up irrational, aggressive, violent behaviors, is that the people that are in charge of the quantum computing are confident in what they think they're doing. That's what it means. Like I talked to the young man out front, I sat there and talked, with that lady in India. She said, I said, he didn't. I had to explain it to him. He didn't get it. I said, you live in cartel country. You tell me, okay. She said Trump's a really bad guy because he dropped 530 bombs in 6 months, and Joe Biden's not as bad of a guy because he dropped 555 bombs in 4 years. What does that tell you? Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding, ding dong, ding dong, ding, da dong 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 dong, ding dong, ding dong. It tells you that Joe Biden has more business partners than Donald Trump. That Donald Trump wants to monopolize the market into the way that him and his business partners want it done, and Joe Biden and Barack Obama don't want the market to ever end, which this moment could last for life, right? So all it means is Trump's people think they're going to win, and it has to be done their way. And Biden's and Obama's people want to win, but they want everybody to win. It's like we all won the lottery. This is like fucking Bruce Almighty when they all won the lottery and then the riots broke out in Buffalo. And okay, so we either remain the dominant Pimp Daddy Nashes of the world, or everybody gets to be Pimp Daddy Nash. Okay, it doesn't work that way. You live the Lord's Prayer, and nobody's Pimp Daddy Nash. Perfecto. All right. So I there's a problem, obviously, with the quantum computing. Okay. Lost civilizations beneath Antarctica, ancient aliens. Yeah, there's lost civilizations there's no lost civilizations beneath Antarctica. Antarctica was colder then than it is now because of mechanization. Civilizations destroy things like Antarctica, and then we wouldn't have a planet. Oh gosh, damn, you guys are so dumb. Okay. We need hey, let's pay for an expedition to go to do commerce with the mole people. That actually happened in the United States Congress. It's on the records. Was it Adams? John Quincy Adams? Got a guy to do that? I think it was probably a joke. You think? You would think it would be. I don't know. Maybe he had some drinking buddies, Maybe he had illnesses and had to take medication for his illness, like his gout and there you go. There's always sometimes there's a lot of times there's a reasonable explanation for someone that's is comes from a family as astute as John Adams and John Quincy Adams and Abigail Adams and stuff. But then again, you're talking about people that believe there's a pan in the center of the earth that's going to torture you eternally and your genitalia eternally. If and most okay, well the Adamses were abolitionists. Yeah. I don't even know if the Adamses believe that from the way Abigail was treated and stuff. I don't think they believe their wives and her children were property. Okay, so most of them did. Oh yeah, okay. Henry Clay, the great compromiser, most of them did. There were a few abolitionists. Okay, William Lloyd Garrison, Henry David Thoreau, beautiful man, right? But Henry David Thoreau was one of our founding fathers. He rejected the founding fathers because they were a bunch of slaveholders that considered their wives and children property, and it was in their documentation, which means Jefferson believed that too. Okay, I don't believe my wife and children are property. That's why my dad got so mad at me the other day. Well, because I said I'm not going to be a bastard who sees my wife and children as property and pass my son on to that to make my son the same bastard. My dad got up and really got mad at me and yelled at me, and I'm like, oh shit. No, he's told me that. He said the reason why America's gone bad is because they allowed women to vote. And I'm like, Dad, you can't think that way. Why? Well, because Bob votes and Val votes, and, okay. Dad, okay. If you and Bob vote and he's an idiot and you're not an idiot, then you cancel Bob's vote, right? How are you going to not cancel? How are you going to win? You're going to have to give Val the vote because there's a lot more Bobs out there than there. Okay, do you see what I'm saying? Sometimes Val acts a lot like Bob, I know. Well, that's what she's been DNA interfacing with men like that for the last 20, 30 years that think that same way. That has a large effect on women. My sister was a lot different when she was younger. Oh, yeah. You could talk to her and go, wow, you could talk sense. Like Amy, when she went and started having sex with Georgiev and came back, and she was having repeated sex with Georgiev over and over again, it was like talking to John McCain. It was like, oh, fuck. It's like, that's not my Susie Bear anymore. The reason why women do, they're like my mom. Earl, you have to do what they say or they'll kill us and it'll affect the children. They'll turn the children into them anyway, so we have to assimilate. It's like if we assimilate, the children never get to live in the kingdom of heaven. I apply things in physics. Life's eternal grace is infinite, our Father who art in heaven. So Jesus is talking to someone in the future that is living in heaven on earth. As it is in heaven, so shall it be on earth. So he's not talking to God, he's talking to the Spirit of himself who is living in heaven. Okay. He's talking to the spirit of Adam, who was the original, how to establish the kingdom of heaven on earth, and then he's talking to the spirit in the future. Okay. So forgive them, they don't know what they're doing, they're crazy. You can't just go half-assed and start killing everybody. Because, you'll end up, you'll be Joseph Stalin and you'll kill 99 innocent to get one guilty. And I'm the type of person, I will kill 99 guilty to get to protect one innocent. And you have to. I don't mean to, don't want to. I try to talk to the guilty and say, you have to live the Lord's Prayer, man. Goliath, you're a wackadoodle. Children need the love of the gracious good shepherd and not to be Pimp Daddy Nash. Goliath, you're crazy. Goliath, ground controlled Major Tom, man. You know me. I never quit. Lopez was talking to me about it on the side of the house. I was sitting there because she has business partners. She has friends in low places, CIA and NASA and stuff like that. And I get her in prayer, and she's like, you always say you're not going to go back, but you always do. Like, yeah, I know. She goes, you always go back to people and tell them, you got to do this, you got to do this. And they still don't. It's like, life's eternal and grace is infinite, Jenny. She goes, how come you don't see you as a wife, Jennifer? You big dork. Same with Christy No. Same with Pam Bondi. You don't see you as a wife. You don't think you're good enough. You think all you're ever going to be is a trophy for a hunter. You took Gaston, and I'm not Robbie Benson. No, I don't have a big house with servants and a big library. Reading's overrated. I'm a better book than any book you've ever read. And I'm not a book. I'm the living word. Right? So it's you don't see you as a wife, Jenny Lenny Lopez, you little dork. Okay? I wasn't being... you need to stop crying every time we talk. Like, you're cute. You're cute. No, everybody, you're suckered. She's such a bitch. I know why you're a bitch. I know why you're cold and why you act like Maurice White a lot of the times, because people will bum rush on you and they'll come around and they'll stick around and they'll try to call you and they'll stalk you and they'll want to be your friend, and you have to be mean so people think, God, what a bitch, I don't want to be her friend. I understand exactly why you do what you do, Jennifer. I'm not stupid. Why don't you you can't tell people, because then people it still hurts their feelings. It's better to hurt people's feelings, okay, telling them the truth, than try to live in a masquerade that's a complete lie and be comfortable in that complete lie, Missy Jenny Lenny, who can be a wife if you want to be a wife. Okay. The Goldstein kid seems like a perfectly good escort. If he can stand up for the Lord's Prayer, he'll make an excellent husband. If he can't, he'll make a perfectly good escort through hell. In the meantime, hey, I don't see the guy standing up for a Lord's Prayer and screaming it from the top of his lung. He makes a perfectly good escort for a woman who wants to live the Lord's Prayer to get through hell. And that's the only way I see him. It's Uncle Bunny, right? Okay. So I'm a good bunny, you bad bunnies. But you know me, so God, the architecture, I I hate all this modern architecture and all this bullshit. Share caregiving accordance need built to last. We don't need big buildings, people piled up on top of each other, breathing in carbon emission and poisoning because you want to sell them an electric car and electric boots and mohair suits. I read it in a magazine. You have to correct yourself. I can't do it for people. Okay. Where is it? 64 degrees. Is this thing set to Denver or or Albuquerque? I don't know. I try to fix it because I want to get El Paso weather, but I can't get it to get me local weather. It gives me somewhere else. So I never get the right weather. And I sit there and go, 64 degrees. Damn, that sounds nice. No, I don't wish I was in Denver. I don't wish to be anywhere. Last night I was shooting hoops, and I was sitting there thinking about things, and it happens a lot with this little dork, this girl from Puerto Rico via the Bronx. And I'm like, no, I don't think about what it could have, should have, or might have been. If it was going to be, it would have been. Like me and Steffi, because I didn't, if she'd acted different, if we were going to end up in Las Vegas, New Mexico, she would have acted different, but she was impulsed and abused by the military, so she freaked out. And I handled it, but I didn't want to be abusive and tell her where we were going, and she freaked out so much about it. And I was like, it's a small community of affordable college where you can go do this. But I have to know, because I got to ask Poncha and Lawrence, who will let us do it, put in their address as our home address, change it to their home address, so that way I can establish voting stuff and get state residency so we can afford the school. If we have Arizona as a state resident, we can't get out in-state tuition. So she kept freaking out. I don't want, what am I? And I got her the stuff and showed her the things and said, here, go through the classes, pick the ones you want. I don't know what I want to do. It's like, it's going to be the same. Okay. If we go to Phoenix, and she got mad at me because we went to Phoenix because the Gilliards were there. It's like, if we go to Phoenix or we go to Las Vegas, New Mexico, you're going to have the same issue at a college. What do you want to take? What do you want to do? And she did that to me all the time. She goes, I don't want to go there and then she would have loved it. We would have been right out by the Santa Fe. She'd still be living in Santa Fe to this day, being the well-kept homosexual of a rich old homosexual white lady. Yeah, okay. I had everything set up for her. If you trust the Pentagon, don't trust your life to no backwoods Southern or Illinois lawyers, because they've got more business partners, so they drop less bombs when they're in office. You know what I'm saying? So everything is the way it should be, and I of course I'm uncomfortable and I'm unhappy about the way things are because they're wrong. But I love people and I never quit. And what makes me happy is loving people to the best of my ability. So I stay happy while being tortured, which makes people think I'm nuts, but I think you're nuts that you think you're happy being a part of the torture. I know I'm miserable because we're a part of it, and I get happy because I get to do something to stop it. Because it's right to live the Lord's Prayer. It's wrong to deny it. Okay. All right. Thanks, Jenny Lenny, you little dork. Okay. Of course. You're Max and Emmy's mom. Of course there's going to be a lot of things I like about you. Okay.